Imagine there is a place where it is more pure, it is more free, it is more peaceful, it is more loving, it is open, it is expressive, it's connected to everything. Imagine that you have an essence inside of you, something that is underlying through every person. There is a current that every person holds that is more pure than what you currently are. Now, many people ask me, like, well, I don't feel that. Like I feel totally disconnected. I feel lost. I feel I'm all over the place. I don't know where to go. I don't know what's going on, but I can feel things are shifting. I can feel I'm not happy anymore. Maybe I was never really happy. I can feel there is something stirring, but I don't know where to begin. So, this is why I wrote this book. But before we start there, hi, my name is Patricia. And if we haven't met before, then I'm very glad and very happy to have you here on this new episode. This is an episode where we talk about coming back into your essence and learning to create from that place, okay? I believe many teachings or many guides have started to like transform, mm, let's say, transform your wounds, or like you take it with you. And I find that is a very nice practice, but sometimes, see, when it's not yours, when it's ancestral, or when it's cultural or anything like that, it's like transforming is kind of hard. It's kind of like you need to understand, okay, I need to wake up to who I am from my baseline to then create from that base, right? If I try to transform something that has never been really mine, I don't know if that is possible. It did not work for me. Okay. So, this is why I created this book. This is why I started to discover what it means to go back to the 0 point. Some call it the void, some call it this inner peace thing. Which is hard to describe. It's a sensation. It's a deep inner knowing that I try to bring across here. So when you are at the threshold, okay, usually this comes at the crossroad, the threshold, where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this like I used to. And now I need to find a way to discover what this is. And usually the mind comes in and it's like, bah, 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 and has all these excuses of why not to do that. There are several reasons why this is happening, and I really want to go super super gentle here. Like, this is not you're doing it wrong. This is not any judgment based approach. For me, it's about I live that, but now I'm kind of done. I really want to live through a pure place. I really want to live through my divine feminine, through my divine masculine. I want to cultivate a life that is through this union inside of me. Okay. I want to bring this out that has always been here. Nothing has changed until now in your life, but you placed some stuff on top, right? And not because you did something wrong, but because the way how you came into this world and um, what environment you have been in has an impact. Okay, everything has an impact. Energy that is around you has an impact. But when you are in that limbo, in that darkness. You can't even see your hand. You don't understand that you are always connected to every single thing. You're connected to this plant, to this um, uh, to the ground. You're connected to the earth. You're connected to the next person. Everything is woven in each other. And the thing is, your essence doesn't know that. Okay, you know this deep inside of you. This is not new. This is not a new language. This is not some kind of esoteric stuff or spiritual stuff. I'm asking you to really dive deep into what feels true for me here, because that truth is what brings you forward. Okay, what brings you forward is realizing that you have your wisdom inside of you. Now you could go to any kind of therapist or whatever, and they may say things really simple or similar, and you have heard some kind of concepts before. Now it doesn't matter in which concept you understand it. Only thing important is what is true for you. What is true that you need to let it sink into your heart, so that you are like, oh yeah, I know this. Like I can trust this. I can open this. I can go into this. I can try to be more in this liberated state and create from that place of joy, love, abundance, right? How can you do that? You see, we talked in the past videos so often about our wounds, about how to blah, blah, blah. We talked a lot about uh, how can I deal with difficult situations and all of that. But now let's imagine you drop from this darkness into a place of a real sovereignty. Okay, there are so many people out there who were like, you know what, I've done so much healing. I have done the inner wound stuff. I have done all of that. Now I want to experience something new. And for me, totally. Uh, Of course, you want to dive into something new. Why would you only dive in the mud? You see, diving in the mud is only worth it when you can then apply it into something more light, into something more peaceful, into something that is more joyful, that is more in your juice. Okay. If you keep diving in the mud, you just keep repeating the whole thing ever again, like over and over again, the same concept, conversations, the same thing goes over and over again, because that's what you're used to. You are not learning new things. You're just enabling the old wounds all over again. And you see, the past year I have exactly done that, and I'm like, why am I here again? Like, what is this all about, right? What is this all about, that I need to be here again and try to make a statement here for what? Like, why am I, what am I seeking here? Okay, so being in this dark and really being like, okay, let's sit down here, like let's really look into this, and learning to see what it means to just surrender to your path. Now, that might sound like, wow, how can you just surrender to something that you don't know what is next? How can you surrender something when you have so much pain? I tell you, when you have done a certain amount of healing and certain amount of gratitude for all your wounds, for all that you have gone through, when you had a lot of difficult conversations, when you had all of those things, maybe you don't need that at all. I needed it. I totally had to go through all of it, through all of it. So then you come at the point where you're like, okay, now what now? Let's see what's next. Let's see how I can support myself. Let's see how I can go into a next phase, into a next chapter, into a next opportunity. How can I go into a next opportunity where I just surrender to my essence without enabling the whole thing again? So I'm not following all those thoughts that I used to have about proving again, about validation, about who is going to judge me when I do it, X, Y, Z. All those things that return. It's like, okay, now that I trained myself on an energetic level, now I need to bring this into my current situation, into my current life. I don't need to live in the limbo anymore. I don't need to live in the dark anymore. I can step into that light because I know I can hold it. I can step into my essence and not be afraid of all the love that I have to give, of all the joy that I have to give, of all the feminine aspects of me. I don't need to be afraid of that anymore. I cultivated that over the years. Now, going forward means I'm going to trust my soul path to lead me, to guide me. Now it's about, do you really trust it? Do you really um, do you really move forward and let go of all those things that are not good for you? And not just that, it's not about not good for you, but they are from the old version of you. They are they were useful in your old version, okay? And now that you became this new king or new queen, it's about managing a new kingdom. How do you move in your new home with all those different rooms? With what do you fill it? Because if you just look back and are like stepping back into the darkness and be like, okay, we have done it like this, so now let's do the same again, then you are filling your new self with those old versions of you, which is probably not what you want. That's not what you worked so hard for, right? So it's about the book. It is about cultivating your new body, cultivating your new self, and then let the old self that is already, and maybe you can already imagine it in your experience. Imagine that old body, okay, standing in front of you. And I don't mean old by old, I mean old by not updated, okay? You got a software update and that version of you holds the old version, maybe even a couple of versions back, okay? Just saying. So closing your eyes and looking at that version of you and being like, wow, you validated so much other people's opinion, how they think, how they feel, and everything showed you how much you were worthy, okay? Maybe this applies to your job, like the more you earn, the more you felt worthy. Maybe you were looking at your parents and be like, hey, I brought all of this like forth or forward, but I never really received any approval, any like, hey, well done, like nothing like this comes. And it's about, okay, well, what was I seeking initially in that kind of conversation energetically? What was I looking for? What were you looking for in that direct reflection? Do you always feel judged by that version? Did you feel anger or frustration or um, whatever you have worked on in your past, maybe a lot of times about your inner child or maybe family dynamics, whatever it was, right? What were you really seeking? And I believe and trust that you know that answer. What were you searching? And now the question is, did I found that in myself? Okay? And it's not about to not receive validation from outside, to not get love from outside. It is about to fill your bucket with the codes, with the transmission, so that when love and when validation and when approval and when all of that comes, that you're like, oh yeah, that feels very true. Let me be together with you for a second, because I really feel good in your presence. You're really showing me what I have worked on. So if you continue to go back, for me, for example, to go to the same person again and ask for their love, but they just can't, like, it's not coming, you know? So what was I initially, by the way, this is just an example, what am I initially looking for? Well, it's to be loved and accepted by myself. So can I accept myself with all that I've gone through, with all that I have done, with all that I have cultivated over the years? Can I forgive myself? Can I actually allow myself to let that drop and be like, you know what? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing up every single day and to be so clear in what is missing in my life. And maybe that is painful. Maybe you're already one step further and you're like, I can feel like how everything is just falling off from me, right? How everything is just falling off. And you're like, you know, I just give it back to source. If that is up, if that is down, doesn't matter. Let it drop from your body. And ask yourself, when this whole thing feels complete, ask yourself, in this pure light, in this pure loving field where you have nothing else than just a smile, what do I want to create from a place of sovereignty, from a place of freedom? And don't just go there and stop there, but like, how does my life really look like? Am I going to live somewhere else? How is it going to look like? With whom? What am I going to work there? How is my work going to look like? Be excited about it. Feel into the possibilities. Feel into how far is this feeling from you? Because maybe it's not that far at all. Okay, we are at the end of this episode. If you enjoyed, comment below. Let me know. How did that feel for you? And besides that, don't forget to subscribe and get the book. If you want to hear anything more, then I highly suggest you to read the book. Let me know how you think or how you like it. Give me your feedback. It's it's a pleasure. It is really a pleasure to be out here and to share and to explore with all of you. So thank you so much for being here as always, and we speak the other week.